Hey gang, sorry for the late episode. Producers wanted to try some new weird schedule for the release, so we'll see how this goes. Anyhow, today we're talking about the long gestating sequel, reboot, relaunch of the Margot Robbie-led franchise, where she reprises her role for the third time in like 5 years of the cartoon turned comic book character turned film star, Harley Quinn. Side trivia, in the film where Margot got to play one of her most boring hot blonde babes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of Charlie Manson's girls is played by Kevin Smith's daughter, who's actually
Kind of love actually
named Harley Quinn.
I guess so.
So this franchise first came out in 2016 with Suicide Squad. Really bad. Just Suicide Squad. This one's The Suicide Squad. And then last year we had a movie called Birds of Prey, which was like a side sequel. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Wow, we got a really long movie title. See how wacky we are? So after the original failed to amuse critics, and even though box office numbers were good, the planned sequel was eventually scraped after 3 different directors and a handful of writers couldn't agree on what the film should be. After being fired from Disney over some old tweets, 2 years later, mind you, this is only 2 years after the original Suicide Squad came out, James Gunn was available. And WB snatched him up to add his unique blend of genuine wackiness and horror action camp to any franchise that he wanted. He asked for Suicide Squad and the producers said, sure. And here we are with The Suicide Squad. Another fun fact, Disney reinstated him the day after WB hired him. I have some ex-girlfriends like that. So the movie's out now, and as expected, everyone is actually saying it's fantastic because James Gunn knows what he's doing. I'm not going to try and convince you to check it out. I want to discuss a little bit about why we can't seem to come up with new movie ideas anymore. Everything's a sequel or a reboot. It's an old argument, but it's true, and it's only getting worse. So the obvious answer is money. Audiences want something that is familiar to them, and the studios want something they can bank on. So when audiences don't go to new, fresh, original ideas, that reinforces the idea to the studio that audiences don't want anything new, fresh, and original. And maybe that's true. Yes? No, but I'm filming. I'm filming a thing right now. Okay. Okay, I'll be right in. Sit down. The ratings for the show have gone down. But we've only done 2 episodes. Change the show. What is it? Maybe I can do something else, just something a little different. Change the show. Hey guys, thanks for watching and welcome to Cam's Crazy Cult Classic Collection Club celebrating cinema. Don't forget to subscribe. So where were we? Basically, anybody will do anything to keep their viewership high. Even change the nature of the show, movie. If the boss, who has no creative ideas, looks at the numbers and gets scared, he's probably gonna tell you to GTFO, am I right guys? Wow, so crazy, wacky. Let's all go to the lobby. I already changed the show, okay? Change it again. Alright, but I'm only changing it a little bit this time. Woo. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Different. Now, are we actually facing a crisis of new, unique ideas not hitting our screens? Maybe. Radiotimes.com looked at the trend of the top 20 performing movies every year from 1983 until now. The average, until recently, of movies that were somehow related to another franchise was about 3. Then, for some reason, around 2003 to 2008, before Marvel films were even coming out, there was an explosion. Even though we've seen 5 different films of A Star is Born, Disney has virtually 0 original concepts, and we've been getting Superman movies since the 80s. What could this upward trend have been caused from? Why? How does English work? I have a theory, which I have no way to scientifically prove or anything, but bear with me. What do you think happened between 2003 and 2008 that upset the movie industry that wasn't the writer's strike?
If you're busy like me, going to the video store is a hassle. With Netflix, just make a list of the movies you want to see.
Even though it was created in 1997, Netflix didn't really take off until it figured out the algorithm to really track its subscribers and figure out what they wanted to rent, and developed the queue, the instant queue, around, you guessed it, 2003. So by the end of 2006, Netflix had more than 6.3 million subscribers, a 7-year annual compound growth rate of 79%, and it had finally become profitable, generating more than $80 million in profits in 2006. Then came instant online streaming, which sent Netflix into the stratosphere, but more importantly, it sent people out of the theaters and back home. Now, I love Netflix. I have the DVD service, and I'm gonna watch The War tonight. However, movie studios sought to bring audiences more comfortable, familiar viewing experiences. This meant cushy seats, alcohol, reclining chairs, dinners, and of course, stories about characters that everyone already knew. There's no brain power needing to catch anyone up with why Batman was so sad. Let's face it, audiences got spoiled. We got lazy. We wanted the comfort of home in the theater, which meant we weren't going out to the theater, which meant ticket prices went up, which meant the studios had to bank on ideas that would definitely get people out to the theater. You gotta market what sells, baby. This brings us to our lovely Ionia Theater, and what we can do to help usher in new, good, original concepts. Guys and gals, don't be so spoiled. It's okay if your theater doesn't have massages, if it doesn't hand deliver you the finest Corinthian leather and wine. It's okay if the theater doesn't call you pretty as soon as you walk in the door, which is what's so stupid because the Ionia Theater is comfortable. If it was good for our great-grandparents in the 30s, it's good for us now. We got the same butts. Appreciate the comforts that we have. This is a small business that isn't owned by AMC or Cinemark. This town complained for years, to get new cushy seats, rip out all the old original seats, and get a new sound system and all this stuff. And you know what? We built another theater using a lot of money because all these people are complaining. And guess what happened? Nobody has shown up. Maybe initially there was a good crowd, but these days we're lucky to get 5 people in the theater. We should be so thankful and proud to have the Ionia in our city. It's historic, it's beautiful, for crying out loud. We get to sit in the air conditioning out of this hot sun. We're in the heat during the winter and see Harley Quinn and some shark dude tear a person in half. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, come on. Don't go to businesses, especially small businesses, and complain that they don't have something that you want. You should go to them for the things that they are. Anyway, okay. I'm done ranting. I'm gonna go to the movies right now. See ya.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.